It's Bigfoot Collectors Club with Bryce, Michael, and Ivy. I know a story of high strangeness or two. Let's do this.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Bigfoot Collectors Club, the show where we talk to amazing guests, not this week, and share stories of high strangeness. I'm your host, Michael McMillan. With me always is your other host,
Bryce Johnson.
And our super producer,
Riley Bray.
Hi, boys.
Hi.
Yeah.
Listen, we come back, we start talking about, black triangles and UFOs, and guess what happens? 2024 blows up with alien activity already.
We did that.
We're
Air
this
quotes.
wet, hot alien year.
Alien activity.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm excited to jump back in with you guys. We're doing a very fun Saturday afternoon record.
Yeah.
And it's just us. Like I said, no guests this week because we have some ground to cover. We've got some recent stories I want to talk about.
I'm in my
And I thought
slippers. Riley's in bed. This is like Saturday cartoon stuff, but podcast style.
Oh, Saturday cartoons.
Wasn't that the best?
This is the grown-up version.
Today the kids just they run into the room and then they bring their phone really close to their face. Not the same.
Yeah, Saturday
but,
morning YouTube. Not the same.
I used to sit out in the living room with a big quilted blanket and my pet squirrel. And,
you had a
can't
pet
believe you had a
fucking
pet
squirrel. I
squirrel.
keep forgetting that. That's
know.
amazing.
God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Watch
I won't.
the Pirates of Darkwater.
I was like a DuckTales kid. Man, I love DuckTales.
Woo!
DuckTales was I believe DuckTales was after school.
DuckTales. Yeah, DuckTales was an after school for me too. Yep.
G.I. Joe, DuckTales, He-Man, that was all after school. Saturday mornings was all about Pee-wee's Playhouse, The Real Ghostbusters.
Right.
And then Sunday morning, if you were lucky
God, you
to
got a
stay
good
home from
memory
school
for
on
that.
Fox, you could watch RoboCop and reruns of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Oh, Mom, I don't feel good.
Too bad. Jesus will heal you. That's what
My
she
mom
said.
wouldn't let me watch Pee-wee's Playhouse because she said it's too weird.
No
And I
way,
was like,
really?
Well, Mom, that backfired now, didn't it?
Yeah, Mom, let me show you a photo of myself performing on stage in the future.
You want to talk weird?
I literally look like Missy Vaughn from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Exactly. Should have let me watch the show.
That's
all I'm saying.
so funny.
Well,
man.
I thought that we would continue the fun by serving up. I'm going to serve up a little alien poo-poo platter
Great.
for you guys this
Great.
week. Before we do that, why don't we nominate our 5-star Club Scout of the week, Riley?
Yes.
Well, I nominate as tribute Nicholas.
Oh, this is, by the way, still from Amazon. So thank
we're
you,
still
everybody.
doing
who's-
Amazon?
Yeah,
Killer.
thank you,
Okay,
everybody
great.
who's dropping us reviews on Amazon.
Reshaping
Thank you
those
for your
algorithms.
generally nonsensical Amazon reviews. Yes, really enjoying it. All right, here we go. 5 out of 5 stars. Who-Man podcasts are fun. Reviewed in the United States on December 17th, 2023. Scared person drop phone in woods after seeing me. Me find podcast of other persons talking about Bigfoot. First off, rude. For persons who do horse math, size of foots should not be issue. That aside, I very much enjoy hearing about me and my friends, Bat Squatch, Mothman, Joopy, Dog Guy, and even listener story about old friend Hell Demon. Funny to hear what humans think. Hosts are very good, and I even seen one of them in woods before. He was filming TV show. Overall, love podcast, and will recommend to all cryptid friends. Recommend going to other side too. Me give 5 wood knocks. I mean, home world suns stars.
Well done.
5 stars.
Yes. Oh,
I like that
love
Bigfoot.
that.
I like that
Thank
Bigfoot
you, Bigfoot.
calls Dogman Dog Guy.
Dog Guy, yeah.
All right. Let's begin with a very fun question from a listener. Now, normally we save listener emails for L-Files episodes at the end of each month. Please write to us at BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com. But this was a question, not an encounter story, and it wasn't one that I've ever thought about before, which I think is rare in 6 years of doing the show. So, Bryce, do us the honor of reading this letter for us, please.
Oh, great. I'm intrigued, as I suspect our listeners are as well. Hey, BCC boys. Love the show and wish there was a new one every day. Michael doesn't, or Riley, or Bryce. Oh my gosh! Yes, halfway through the Patreon, and it's the best subscription service I have. So thank you all. My question is, why are UAPs usually spotted at night because of lights? Airplanes have lights for identification purposes, but not for navigation. One would presume that something that made it here from either the bottom of the ocean or thousands of light years away could fly around without the need for lights. Not very stealthy, in my opinion. Thoughts? Thanks all, and keep up the good work. Jeff. Great question, Jeff. Guys, what do you think?
I've never thought about this.
I haven't either, Jeff. You just blew my mind.
Yeah. I have thoughts. I've read this letter, but I want to kick it over to you guys. What do you guys think?
I think they want to be seen. It's the only explanation.
Yeah.
Because he's right. Why would they need lights?
Well,
It doesn't make any sense that they don't need them to navigate.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And look, I think it might even go a little deeper than that. Because we still don't know what the UFO or the UAP is and how physical of a craft it actually is. I mean, does it phase in and out of existence? And what is it? And if you think about what light is, it's intrinsically linked with the UFO, the woods, every kind of encounter almost, because, some people even call the UFO a Merkaba or light vehicle. So light is an extremely important essence of this UFO or contactee experience. But it's interesting. I always love how on those black triangles they seem to have the orbs of lights at the ends of these delta triangles, but then sometimes they'll split off and they'll start moving around on their own, almost as if the craft has discombobulated and is now like three individual little orbs, but then it'll come back and reform the delta. So yeah, great question, Jeff. It's a fun one to think about. What's the purpose of those lights and the tractor beams too, right?
I like that idea, Bryce, though, that it's like a light-based technology. Like it's like playing with a fundamental sort of element of the universe. That's a very cool thought.
Yeah, some sort of hard light vehicle, or my guess was going to be that like we're seeing the energy that it's composed of. Whatever might be fueling it, or we're seeing lights from within. So that kind of like lines up with what I'm kind of on both sides of the camp here with both of your theories. I think maybe it's a communication device with us, and then also maybe part of what the light is coming from, however it is powered or whatever it's made up of. And close encounters are the third kind. Like lights were used, lights and music, lights and sound were used to communicate with us. Yeah. And thinking about the Hudson Valley invasion that we talked about on the other side, the lights really seem to also be like a communication device with the people on the ground. So
sure,
I think they do want to be seen. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very fun, and maybe they need to see each other. I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe they're communicating with each other in the way that like planes are identifying to one another, human-based aircraft. I'm not sure, but it's a great question, Jeff.
And how much of our universe is actually made of light and sound? I mean, we only see just a small percentage of the spectrum. Yeah, that's right. So light plays a huge part in how we perceive our universe.
Yeah.
Love it. Get started on your New Year's resolutions with Factor so that you are ready to take on 2024. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered straight to your doorstep. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Listen, I'm taking on the new year with an all-new me. I am getting healthy. I'm getting active. I am focusing my mind so that I can finally lucid dream and channel and manifest all of my deepest, darkest desires and goals. Factor is great. Look, I'm a cooking man, but sometimes I need to eat now. And having something like Factor ready to go, ready to eat, and with delicious meals is awesome. And it's not just me. I have friends who are using Factor, and they love it too. So I highly recommend it. Factor now offers loads of snack options too, like breakfast, smoothies, juices, snacks, and more to keep you going no matter what's on the schedule. Listen, skip the overpriced takeout trap, all right? We've all been there. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door. They're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means, what? More time for you. That's right. Head to factormeals.com/Bigfoot50 and use code Bigfoot50 to get 50% off. That's code Bigfoot50 at factormeals.com/Bigfoot50 to get 50% off. Ooh-ah! Okay, well, we're back, and you know what? A lot went down in the first week of 2024. We have to address this story that came out of Miami about the hashtag Miami alien incident.
Wow.
Now, did you guys know too much about this when this happened?
I mean, just I saw the TikToks, I saw the posts and things, but. That's pretty much the extent of my knowledge.
I think I'm proud to say that for the very first time, I was totally unaware and caught by surprise, Michael, when you were like, hey, dude, Miami alien invasion, are you seeing this? I'm like, no, and WTF? So, this one caught me by surprise.
Okay, so in a nutshell, let's just go through this. This is going to be Riley. Be prepared because we've got some obvious BCC news.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
All right, so we can start anywhere we want to with this one, but basically what happened was on the night of January 1st in the Bayside Marketplace, which is a mall in Miami. Cops were called, and when I say cops are called to the mall, I mean every single police car in Miami was called to the Bayside Mall. And it wasn't until a few days later that people started spinning conspiracy theories about what happened. And there was footage that came out, police like helicopter footage of what looked to be like, and we're talking from real bird's eye view of a gray alien, like tall being walking across the front steps in front of all these police squad cars. Okay.
Right.
So basically all over TikTok and all over YouTube, people were starting to say that a 10-foot alien being manifested itself through a portal in the mall and scared everyone who was hanging out. And there's footage of like hundreds of teenagers and people running in crowds, running away from a parking lot.
Wild.
Okay, so anyway, so basically that was, and you know, for a couple days, for about a week, everyone was saying hashtag Miami alien. You had some eyewitness testimonies that are sort of all over the place. We'll get into those. But the police finally came out a few days later, and this is from NBC6 South Florida. No aliens, UFOs, or ETs. Police clear up social media speculation after viral Bayside brawl. They're saying it was all started because of a big fight that happened in the parking lot. Here we go. Here's the story. Police confirmed they were responding to a large fight that broke out among a group of teenagers, which resulted in multiple arrests on Monday. However, some users have taken to social media to share theories about whether something more was going on to spark such a large fleet of officers. Conspiracy theories ranged from airport shutdowns to the most popular hunch, alien invasions. After days of social media buzz, the City of Miami Police Department set the record straight on Friday, telling NBC6 that nothing is being withheld from the public. Police reiterated that the heavy presence was, as previously reported, caused by the brawl that broke out among a group of juveniles. According to an arrest report, the teens were also lighting loud fireworks, which caused panic among patrons in the mall. The chaos also disrupted and damaged local businesses. To put rumors to rest,
can I
Miami
stop you right
police
there?
Also, I'm almost done.
Okay.
Also added that there were, quote, no aliens, UFOs, or ETs. No airports were closed. There were no power outages. Okay, Bryce.
Wow. Well, I was just going to say, okay, in my mind, as you're reading that thing, because I saw the picture of the cop cars. I had never seen so many cop cars. And as you're reading that, I was going like, and I saw the video of the alien. I didn't see a gray alien thing. I saw like a shadow entity thing. Maybe you guys saw something different. But so as you were reading that, I was thinking, no way in hell have I ever seen that many cop cars over a youth fight, no matter how big. But then you said the word fireworks, and I went, okay, maybe that makes sense, because as soon as like fireworks go off, you start to hear bomb. I don't even finish the word, but I don't have to. And then I could see how something like that could turn into the picture I saw of at least 150 squad cars. I mean, the presence of like I've never seen.
The police said, I can't remember what code it was, they called out like every active squad car in Miami. Listen, if this were in a Fast and Furious movie, this is when Dom says it's go time, and those races begin, because all the police are distracted.
Yeah,
that's
Michael,
true.
So
what about what about the witness I saw? Because you sent me so much great stuff, but I saw a witness, this young individual who seemed like, and he seemed very truthful. He's like, I saw this thing with my own two eyes, and they're going to try and tell you it was a fight, but I saw this creature. It was not human, and he looked very truthful and honest. What do you make of these witnesses?
Okay. I want to, and I don't want to steam roll Riley here either. So I want to unpack all of this stuff. So
okay, great.
Allegedly, what happened was there was a impromptu car gathering of tricked out cars, much like a Fast and Furious movie that started happening outside of the Margaritaville at the Bayside Marketplace.
That's right.
Okay.
That's family first.
So this was unscheduled, but there's like hundreds of teens hanging out with their cars. Everyone's kind of like revving engines and hanging out. Allegedly, a couple things happened. There's supposedly like looting started to happen, and a fist fight broke out with a group of 50 teenagers.
Oh no, this is like the perfect storm. Holy cow. Yeah, because this, okay, I was just going to say, sorry.
Conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You're getting him excited.
I'm so excited. Well, because now you're adding this looting element, which is like, I don't know if our listeners are familiar, but in California, there's this like looting thing that's happening. It was during the last year. I don't know if it's still going on, but we're just gangs of individuals would just rush into malls, into department stores, and just start grabbing. And there's so many of them that it's overwhelmed security, and they can't do anything. And they do this in a matter of like 3 minutes. And so if it's like that, and there's like a car thing going on, and a youth fight, and fireworks, and it's like, holy, this is getting good.
It's a holiday. It's a holiday. You got to remember, it's the end of the holidays. Everyone is tired of hanging out with their parents. They all want to party.
Right.
So
fuck family.
So what? No, Dominic, no. You're turning against everything you've ever loved.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what came first, the looting or the fight, but apparently a huge fight broke out, and then someone set off fireworks.
Jesus.
And people thought it was gunfire.
Wow.
And that is when the shit hit the fan. That's what the videos of everybody running from is, because they thought there were gunshots, and that's why all the police swooped in. Now, one of the conspiracy theories was that all the police scanners at this time were blacked out. So people in the public could not hear the police scanners. That's not true. They've recovered they've recovered audio, and they're like, from the police activity, it sounds like everyone's just responding to possible shots fired, looting, and a fight breaking out at the mall. So I think the police.
If you're a cop, you're fucking hitting those that light bar. You're like, oh, dude, we're on this. Like, you know, you're like, this is what we've been waiting for. This is a fun one.
The other thing I think that we need to maybe wrap our mind around as we're looking at all of this is just how much of a police state we all live in, guys.
That's honestly the major takeaway.
Seriously.
Yeah. So anyway, all this shit goes down, and then like a few days later, someone posts video of it's a bird's eye view of what the police say are 3 policemen walking in patrol formation along the front of the mall, and somebody said that looks like an alien. And boom, this thing goes viral on TikTok. Now, there are so many quote-unquote eyewitness videos saying, yeah, I was at the mall. I watched a lot of these. And I
only watched one.
Most of them all sounded like people doing tongue-in-cheek stuff. A lot of like out of left field fat jokes and fat shaming in these jokes. Like, I had to hide behind 2 obese people from an alien. And you're like, wait a minute, why are we going down this path? This is very strange. Some of those people who said that they were there and saw like a 10-foot tall shadowy alien blipping in and out of existence, they later went back on TikTok and said, I was trolling y'all. I don't know what you're talking about. You guys are crazy. And then people are like, the police got to them. They shut them down, right? There were 2 big videos being passed around. The one of the helicopter of the people saying that looks, and if you look at it, it does look weird.
That's the one I saw. It looked weird.
Gray.
Well, and then this is coming off, and then this is Michael. This is coming off of like that Las Vegas incident. Remember where that family claimed there was an alien that landed in the backyard. So like, I was sort of putting these 2 events together and like kind of going in my mind. Oh my God, maybe this is happening more on a mass scale. Okay, interesting.
Yes. Exactly. I mean, this is a direct line from the Las Vegas stuff to this. The other video that was going around was of a slowed down, like outdoor image of what looks to be some, and it's real rough, real blurry, of a 7-foot to 10-foot tall shadowy thing moving along cop cars.
That's what I saw. That's the thing I saw.
We gotta really use our imagination with this stuff. Another thing that went around was a video of a yellow portal appearing in black and white mall security camera footage, which was debunked. That was a thing that had been passed around since like 2017 or 18 and was from China. So a lot of stuff was just getting thrown in the pot here. And I think what happened was everyone was hopping on the TikTok viral bandwagon and wanting to do an eyewitness video or get in on the game so their fucking shit goes viral. Because here's the thing. TikTok in particular, this is the new way of getting your 15 minutes on TV, right? Mm-hmm. Is getting a video that you make going viral. Whether it's real or not, you can make if you set a 60-minute TikTok or 60-second TikTok video and it goes viral, you can start making money. You know what I mean?
Totally, absolutely.
And I think bragging rights, and I also think there is a game that is happening, that's been happening for generations, of like people want to get in on the metafiction as the metafiction is fucking happening in real time.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
And but I will say, look, it's weird. Okay. I love the idea of aliens materializing at a mall. That's so fun.
Yeah.
But I think this has, certainly by the point this comes out, been pretty much thoroughly debunked. But I'm still seeing people that we follow on our Instagram page saying, I connected psychically with the Pleiadians, and they told me that this is something that happens every now and then. Like, there are people out there that are telling you this is a real cover-up.
Okay, well, I want to speak on this just because, like, here's what I think, right? And I'm with you totally. And as these events, I'm with you. I think I think there's a pretty prosaic explanation. You know, and about the Las Vegas one, I asked George Knapp personally if he thought there was, you know, any meat on the bones to that story. And he felt that he was pretty confident that that story out of Vegas had been pretty well debunked. Now, that being said, I still feel like there's maybe a little something there. I'm not sure what it is. I haven't closed the door completely on that. Now, moving to this Miami thing, even with the fireworks and the looting and the family first car rally, that's still a lot of cop cars. And, you know, with what's going on, it almost felt like, I don't know, I get the hint that like this would be a great like trial run to see how like people handle something like this. Like, I don't know, there does seem to be some type of misinformation purposefully placed in there.
But Bryce,
now I'm like 5% on that.
Bryce.
I'm 95%. Michael, you did, by the way,
Okay.
you did a great job explaining all of this stuff, and I'm going to move 98% to like that's probably all this is.
Well, Bryce,
but there's still 1% where I'm like, okay.
Let's live in your 1% for a moment here, okay?
Okay, yeah, great.
Who usually when there's an alien event, who usually responds?
I would imagine
Men
I would imagine the first people that respond are law enforcement officers. I mean, the first thing that happens if an alien shows up somewhere that's not supposed to is somebody sees it, calls the cops, and says what they said, like that family did. They made that 911 call that was so real. I still think that there's honesty and validity to that 911 phone call that family made in Las Vegas. Now, so that's what happens. And then of course you add to that element maybe some of the things that were really taking place, like fireworks going off. This could have been a perfect fucking storm, Michael. So I can't discount entirely that something didn't take place. Now, I'm 99% there with you, but boy, what a great test run for any type of agency or I don't know, alphabet soup to come in and look how like a scenario like this would play out.
Yeah, but I just like, where's the military presence? If they really think this is an alien, that's when the fucking military, that's when the black cars and black helicopters come in.
That's also, a good point. Yep.
If there were that many witnesses, we would have way better fucking video than we do. And half the shit they're putting forward is clear AI, fake shit, bad CGI. It's
that was
bad.
that was another portion of it too,
really
right? People were disseminating.
Event,
I'm sorry, people. We have a lag here. Sorry, guys. That was another part of it too. Is like people disseminating fake stuff on top of it, right? Like weren't like people creating like AI affected creatures and like so they were like it's all this stuff now. We're in this time period where it's like really hard to discern fact from fiction, and like you know TikTok's probably not helping.
Exactly. I heard a guy. I heard there was a guy on YouTube that was saying that he was there and he watched a bunch of nerdy teens open a portal out of a machine they invented, and that's where the alien crawled out of.
See, I want to believe
that.
That's
where
my
that movie.
Yes.
That sounds great.
That's where my 1% lives, in that magical realm of like, please let that be the truth, please.
So here's where I think the truth actually is, and this is a depressing one. Bryce, you mentioned it earlier. There have been first of all, I will say I do think police would amass that greatly if they thought a mass shooting was happening. If they thought something really bad was going on, 100% they're going to go.
Yep.
Because sadly, we live in a reality now where, at least in this country, the police are now prepared to respond if there's a mass shooting like that. And I think that's what we saw. Second, and this is the point I was going to bring up, there have been all these fucking mall fights happening all across the country this past year. Year and a half. There was a situation that happened I've got a couple examples here, in the Del Amo Fashion Center in Torrance. 1,000 teenagers got into a mass fucking fight at the mall.
Are you serious?
Yes. This was back in August of 2023. And there's another one. There's ones. This has been happening all over the country where there are these huge, massive teenage fights breaking out. Where like stores are getting looted, employees are getting attacked and hurt. Like, it's
That's
a real thing
up.
Yeah. And so I also think on the heels of this rash of literal violence that's breaking out, 1,000 teenagers fighting in a Mall del Amo fashion center in August.
Wow.
And it's Emery. Let me see. Here's another one. Emeryville Mall, which is
teens are so scary.
Teens are scary.
They really are.
I got ran out of Christmas Vacation when I was a teen. There was me and my friend went to see it. There was like a group of teens. Maybe there was like 2 or 3, but they were big and they're like, "We're gonna kick your ass after this movie." And I was like, "Oh, let's go!"
Oh my God!
Oh, it was terrifying.
That's scary.
Dude,
I didn't get to finish that movie.
Torrance, we had stuff. Tukwila, Washington, south of Seattle, a huge mall fight this past year.
Oh, that sucks,
Congress
man.
Gates Mall in Albany, New York, a huge teenage fight broke out there outside of the Regal Cinema. Like, this shit's happening and nobody knows why all of this stuff is going down. So I think that is a far more interesting and scarier story.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Haven't
don't
you
mean to
always
laugh.
secretly
People are getting hurt, but I'm just saying,
haven't you always secretly wanted to been in an old Western bar fight though? Like, isn't there maybe like people are living out this secret ambition of chaos, because half of that scares the shit out of me, and then the other half of me goes, I want to be in a 1,000-person mall fight. That's not true. Actually, I abhor any violence at all, and I'm just speaking out of my ass.
But that little 1%.
There's that 1% that does want to watch that old Western bar fight happen where chairs are getting tossed and I don't know. Wild. What's happening?
What's happening is late stage capitalism,
Yes.
my friend.
People are
the slow
upset.
decline of empire.
The decay
That's
of
what's happening.
the American civilization. Yes. Fun.
Teenagers who were robbed of at least
not
2
just
years of
America.
their adolescence due to a pandemic.
Also that.
We're not recovered from the year and a half that we lost as a
Yeah,
society.
totally.
Like,
Yeah.
people are fucked up right now.
No.
And we're coming right back into a huge surge right now. Like, it is very far from over.
Wow.
So,
Everyone, stay safe out there. I think that we can write off the hashtag Miami Alien as a case of mass, at least online hysteria and conspiracy theory. Would it were so? I would love for a 10-foot tall alien to just pop into a mall and say hi. That would be a blast. And obviously this will live on in conspiracy lore for generations to come. So you're welcome. You can enjoy it that way. But
Michael, I agree with you. Well done on that. But there's going to be an after effect to this, and what that might be is I want you guys to think about what would happen if this something like this actually took place in the future. How are we going to be? And it was a genuine event, the actual article, right? Let's say some type of interdimensional interloper popped up and he got his coordinates wrong, right? And he ended up in Griffith Park, and he's seen by a bunch of people, and cops are called, and it's a true event. But now we sort of have this basis to debunk stuff like this happening quite easily, right? So what's the precedence for determining an actual genuine encounter?
Well, what's the precedence for determining the actual genuine truth in 2024? It's fucking impossible.
Man, that's wow. Yeah.
We'll be right back.
yeah.
Bigfoot Collectors Club is sponsored by BetterHelp. What are some of the things that you want to keep the same about yourself or your life in 2024? Where are you already crushing it? Think opposite of New Year, New You. Well, I'll say for me, I'm crushing this podcast with my buddies Bryce and Riley. I'm really happy about that, and I'm happy that we get to share this show with you guys. Around New Year's, we get obsessed with how to change ourselves instead of just expanding on what we're already doing right. And maybe you finally organize one part of your space, or your home, or your lifestyle, and you want to tackle another. Therapy can help you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. I think this is great because the way therapy has helped me, one way therapy has helped me, is that I'm someone who will focus on everything that I'm doing wrong. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this. And therapy has helped me see the good things that I've accomplished in my life, the healthy things that I am doing. And it's good to focus on those sometimes and then give yourself a little bit of a break in the areas that are more challenging in your life. And you can kind of unpack why those areas are challenging and maybe figure out how to take those on in a healthier way that is easier on you. You know what I mean? If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you got to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit BetterHelp.com/BCC today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/BCC. Riley, before we move on to this week's story of high strangeness, you said there was something on the break that you did enjoy about this whole thing.
I just love the idea of if 10-foot tall shadow aliens showed up, the first place they hit was the mall in Miami. Like, that's just
gotta get those Jordans,
that's where
dude.
You go. You'd be like, let's check this out.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, Miami's a beautiful
they're big.
city.
Well, they're big Will Smith fans. They just got his. They just got.
Yes, they
Welcome
saw a
to
transmission
Miami.
of Will Smith's Miami coming in on
just
the.
You're right. They're like, this is how it's done.
Bienvenido, Miami. Let's go.
Party in the city where the heat is on.
All
So
right.
funny.
Okay. Well, let's dig into the most popular serving on this alien poo-poo platter. I'm talking about high strangeness. Now, this is a good time to remind everyone that if you aren't following us on Instagram at Bigfoot Collectors Club, you should be, because we'll be throwing up some visual references over there. Also, quick note, hey, this is really cool. I just wanted to say we're just about to cross 11,000 followers on our Instagram, which is so cool.
Oh, fun.
Love
so
that.
I want to just thank everybody who has been following us over there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Love that.
Okay, so for my birthday last October, my sister gifted me a very fun book called The United States of Cryptids by J.W. Ocker, which is a true delight. I love this book. You guys should definitely check it out. They have some classics in there, but it's also introduced me to some more obscure cryptids and creatures that I've previously been ignorant to. And I think once you hear about this one, you're never gonna forget it. Have either of you, or you listeners at home, ever heard about the giant sky clam of Nevada?
What? No.
Oh man, there's some low hanging fruit there.
I
I'm
mean-
gonna leave it be.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about my home state here, so tread lightly.
Also known as the space clam or glider, the giant sky clam of Nevada was a disc-shaped biological UFO or alien creature observed by a man named Don Wood Jr. and his friends. Also, side note, Don Wood Jr. is also for sure the name of our side guitar player in BJ and the Shadowbats.
Oh, and definitely.
They spotted this thing and claimed that it was a living, breathing biological entity. So if you, mild spoilers for Nope, if you haven't seen Nope, which you should, but it's very similar to what we're talking about here. In the October 1959 issue of Flying Saucer magazine, readers were treated to a UFO letter written by Don Wood Jr., who wrote in anonymously at the time about an encounter that he felt would solve the mystery of flying saucers. They were not nuts and bolts machines, but breathing, living, pulsating biological entities.
Love it.
Back in 1925, Wood and three of his buddies were zipping around the Nevada skies in Curtiss JN biplanes nicknamed Jennies. Around 1 p.m. in the afternoon, Wood and his friends landed the planes on top of a 5,000-foot tall formation encircled, perched upon sheer cliffs that they called Flat Mesa, just outside a town called Battle Mountain. pretty fucking cool name for
Hell yeah.
Battle Mountain. Now that's a BJ and the Shadowbats album title.
Battle Mountain.
Man,
I'll put it in
can
there.
you imagine if the three of us could just fly around in some Jennies at Battle Mountain? Sounds like a good time.
Up on Flat
Yeah,
Mesa, land on Flat Mesa, and outside Battle Mountain. Now,
Hell
as
yeah.
the guys
Sounds
as they got out of their jennies to stretch their legs and enjoy a view of that very few human beings, if any, would be treated to, something truly bizarre happened. From the skies overhead came a saucer-shaped object hurling down and crashing, skidding across the dusty red rock surface of the mesa. It landed about 30 feet from the pilots, and according to Wood, the object was about 8 feet in diameter and had a clam shell-like texture that he compared to mica. Upon approach, Wood and his colleagues could make out a reddish underbelly tucked beneath a slick, wet-looking topside. And to their surprise, it seemed to be breathing. Wrote Wood in his letter,
So help me, this was an animal.
the men watched as the top half of this creature rose and fell as it breathed, exposing a 6-inch wide rim around it as it bobbed up and down like an accordion left on its side trying to play. To make matters more concerning, the entity seemed to be injured. They could see a chunk of its carapace missing, which was oozing out a foamy, metallic-like substance that bubbled across the ground like liquid chicken wire. The poor beast must have been
liquid chicken wire.
This foamy, they said this foamy stuff came out, and you know how like chicken wire has that hexagonal shape, and you know how like foam bubbles?
Oh, yeah, right.
So it was like foam, but if foam was metal and kind of a metallic wire. Like
Or almost like a beehive, like
wire.
a beehive bleeding honey, you know what I mean? That hexagonal shape, maybe.
Well, no, the hexagonal shape was the foam bubbles that were forming out of this thing's mouth.
Oh, that's so fucking weird. I love it.
Yeah, think of like if you can picture like a sudsy chicken wire-like substance. Okay, it's hard to wrap your brain around because it's liquid and metal at the same time.
That is wild.
So the poor beast must have been startled by the sudden approach of the men. Its top half began to pump rapidly, and it rose a few inches into the air before giving up and collapsing back to the ground. Wood's crew backed away, unsure of what to do or what to make of this entire display. They watched as the clam-like creature lay there breathing for about 20 minutes. Then, something truly remarkable began to take place. The creature lit up. It lit up a very bright shade of red. And that's when the second giant sky clam appeared.
No, this is great.
From above, a huge, calm, well, it was pretty calm. A huge, calm clam, much larger than the first one, descended, engulfing the men in shadow. This mother clam hovered over the injured creature and unfurled 4 tentacles. Described by Wood, they were like
Sucker-like tongues. Yeah.
The tongues latched themselves to the smaller clam as the 2 out-of-this-world creatures began glowing so brightly that the men had to turn away as if shielding their eyes from the brightness of the sun. Now, side note, I like to imagine that this was the mommy creature coming down to help the baby creature.
Yeah.
Wood said in his letter he wasn't sure if it was helping or eating the thing, but I think it's helping. I like to say it's helping.
Or fucking.
I love the term mother clam.
Mother clam, yeah.
Yeah.
You got a mother
clam.
You know, we have mother ships. This was the mother clam.
The mother clam, yeah.
The 2
Jeez.
creatures rose into the air and shot across the sky at a speed which Wood clocked at as about 1,000 miles per hour.
Okay, Wood just lost all his credibility. Yeah.
That's about 1,000 miles an hour.
It was
Yeah.
at least
Have you guys-
1,000 miles an hour.
Hey guys, I don't know. Have you guys watched have you been watching Ahsoka? Did you watch Ahsoka season 1? The space whales that can jump into hyperspace? I think it's a lot like this.
damn. Okay. That's cool.
After the strange creatures vanished, the men approached the crash site, which gave off a very foul odor. It was also surrounded by that strange metallic froth, which was rapidly melting away in the sunlight. And with that, their day, and perhaps their whole lives, completely upended, Don Wood Jr. and his friends simply got back into their planes and flew away.
Just another day.
Can you imagine having to just fly away from that after that? Like, well, I guess we should go. It's getting dark.
Yeah. And the thing is, he waited then 30 years to really talk about it. He didn't write in this letter until the 50s, and this all happened in the 1920s. Now, surprisingly, Don Wood Jr. wouldn't be the only person to ever suggest that UFOs were actually some type of creature. A World War II historian turned UFO researcher out of Wellington, New Zealand named Trevor James Constable's main thesis on the phenomenon was that flying saucers were actually large amoeboids that populated the Earth's atmosphere. Existing within the infrared range of the electromagnetic spectrum, these macroorganisms were invisible to the naked eye, but could be picked up by radar. Born in 1925, Constable spent decades trying to prove his hypothesis by photographing these strange amoeboids using a camera fitted with an ultraviolet lens and equipped with high-speed film. Now, if you go to our Instagram, you'll see a sample of what he took pictures of, and a lot of people say this is just abnormalities or just bad pictures, basically. Right?
Yeah.
But he would show pictures that look like big blotchy splots floating around in the sky.
And you got to give him credit too for at least trying a hypothesis. I mean, it's like
thinking
at least he's
outside the box for sure.
Yeah, at least he's coming up with a theory and trying to prove it. That's more than a lot of people do.
Yeah, the results are somewhat underwhelming when you look at the photos, but that didn't stop Constable from writing a book on the subject called The Cosmic Pulse of Life.
Good
Constable
title.
died in 2016, so we unfortunately don't have his thoughts on the most recent swath of UFO videos that began dropping in 2017. So we'll just have to wonder if flying Tic Tacs buzzing military jets are actually giant sky clams who have the occasional appetite for cattle. Now, as I'm writing this episode, this next bit drops on the news as well. Speaking of flying clams and UFO footage, there's this video which was just released a few days ago courtesy of our friend Jeremy Corbell. Now, I want you guys, we'll put this in the show notes, pull up this video, and what you see, it's a video of what looks like what Corbell is calling a jellyfish UAP. This jellyfish UAP was taken at a base in Iraq. I believe it's a U.S. The footage was leaked to UFO journalist Jeremy Corbell. The object was filmed over a joint operations base in Iraq in 2018. Corbell says that the object remains classified as UAP from the Pentagon. Here's the story from News Nation. And what you see in the video is what it looks kind of like the Star Wars, like the Imperial probe droid from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it does, for sure.
It's a thing with like little tentacles floating over the space, and apparently dipped in and out of water in this video. The video was apparently taken at a U.S. joint operations base in Iraq. According to Corbell, the object is officially designated as a UAP, unknown aerial phenomenon, by the Pentagon. The footage was taken with thermographic forward-looking infrared radar. The object, which does resemble a jellyfish, moved through a sensitive military installation before moving over water, where it began what Corbell describes as a controlled descent before submerging. After 17 minutes, the UAP re-emerged from the water and disappeared at a high rate of speed. According to those familiar with the full footage or who witnessed the event, the UAP was not observable with night vision. It appeared to jam the targeting capability of the optical platform and displayed positive lift without the usual means for lift and thrust, with no signatures for propulsion maneuvers present. Some might see a jellyfish. This is me talking. I see a sky clam with its sucker tongues deployed. But what about you boys?
Connecting the dots. Woo! Connecting the dots.
What do you think? What the hell was that?
Wow.
I mean, awesome for starters. I love the idea of sky clams. I love that you connected it back to what Jeremy's doing. And I mean, if there's one person in the UFO space that is really thoroughly researching, really pushing things, just really trying to get to the truth of whatever it is, it's our old pal Jeremy, and we love him for it. But it's a pretty plausible explanation, right? That it's a biological entity.
I've always
like
loved this idea.
Yeah, I think it kind of makes more sense than flying and crashing nuts and bolts crafts. I don't know. I like it a lot, and it's also just a very, very fun thought.
Yeah, giant sky clams, man, trippy. I like this. I like this idea too. I like this idea too that these things are sort of biological, and I'm not even sure about that word, in nature. But yes, they do. There does seem to be, with the UFO UAP phenomenon, some type of sentience attached to it. Now, I don't think these things have to be mutually exclusive. In other words, to me, this giant sky clam and this thing that sort of was hovering over the base seems to be sort of more like an entity itself, almost like an ultra-terrestrial, where it doesn't need a craft. Now, that doesn't mean that there can't be you can't have other crafts piloted by other entities as well, right? Like there can be both. Now, perhaps they are come from completely different origins, or perhaps they're still sort of the same thing, represented just in different guises. Not quite sure, but I've always felt that, this UAP thing, the more you read about them, they come in all shapes and sizes. But what I really liked about your story, Michael, was this one obviously was animal-like. The breathing, the tissues, the corpuscle muscles. I mean, you could just tell that this was like a living, breathing entity. So to me, that just is like, now whether that's like an actual ultra-terrestrial or just this phenomenon like representing itself under something else today, I don't know.
I mean, there's also kind of taking that further, the idea of like a living technology, it's like,
yes.
If a consciousness, whatever form, got advanced enough, its technology would eventually fuse back into just the properties of nature, right? So that's why would you build?
We're in some oh man, God, of course, we're in some Cronenberg territory here. Like,
yeah, sure,
the
that's right,
Jeff Vandermeer, yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, and I think that makes a lot of sense. It's like, if you were that advanced, why would you be building with metals and alloys? Like, you would be building with DNA and the fundamental blocks of life. And especially if it was a synthetic consciousness, somewhere out in the universe that's then able to manipulate life as a technology. I like that idea a lot.
Well, and it also, I mean, having it be able to sort of jam those radar frequencies too, tells you that this ultra-terrestrial or whatever it is has technological capabilities built into it, so it can interface with our most sensitive equipment.
You're saying that the giant sky clam's going to interface with your sensitive equipment?
I mean, yeah, I sure hope so.
I had to get one.
No,
I couldn't take it anymore.
That would everyone. Be ideal. You go. I think we should leave it there. Giant sky clams of Nevada, everyone. Just when you think you've run out of topics of high strangeness, you find something like this. All right.
Never.
Before we get to our new updated segment, Collector's Corner, let's thank some Club Scouts who have recently joined us on BCC The Other Side this year. Here we go, boys. That guy Goldie, Cosmeteer.
Goldie, I know who that is. Legend. Thanks, Goldie. Welcome.
Andrew Clark.
Thank you, Andrew.
Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
Don Fuller.
Thanks, Don.
Tammy Hedrick.
Thanks, Tammy.
Jordan Hale. I want to say thank you to Jordan. I love you, Jordan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What up, Jordan?
Kenneth Malam, Cosmeteer.
Thank you, Kenneth. Welcome.
Big Spicy, Cosmeteer.
Spicy. Welcome.
Simply Kate.
Thank you, Simply Kate.
Jim Reedy 93.
Thank you.
Stephen Wright.
Thank you.
Ty 999.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Finally,
Yes, thank you.
thank you. And finally, favorite name of the week, Hannah Bunana Cosmeteer.
Anna Bunana. Thank you and welcome.
All right, everyone, head over to patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub to unlock total access, where you'll receive 3 bonus episodes every month, access to the BCC Discord, and more. Upgrade to the Cosmeteer membership to unlock 3 music tracks from super producer Riley every month as well. Now, here's the new segment, Collector's Corner. Before...
The new segment from the beginning of the show.
Yes,
6 years ago.
we've brought back Collector's Corner. We're merging it with plugs. So what I want to do is, if we've got something we want to work, we're working on, we can plug it. But also, what are we into? What are we watching, reading, playing, consuming, collecting that we want to share with our fellow Club Scouts? So
Great.
I'll go
Fun.
first. So Bookie Season 1, which I play a small part on, is on HBO Max. All episodes are streaming right now. We got picked up for Season 2. I'm hoping to come back. Fingers crossed for that. But everyone check out Season 1. Also, I was recently on our friend Steve Berg's podcast, High Strangeness. So check that out. That was a blast.
He's great.
As for what I'm currently into, I watched The Holdovers the other night. The Paul Giamatti movie, and I fucking loved this movie. Alexander Payne is on his A game in this film. It's so funny, it's so touching, and it's all shot, Riley, you'd love it. It's all shot to look like a movie made in 1971. Like down to like retro studio logos and film grain and lighting and everything. It's a really, really great movie. So I highly recommend people check that out. And I'm collecting. I've got the collecting bug right now. I'm picking up the recently reissued classic Kenner Ghostbusters Fright Features wave that are limited to Target. If you have a Target in your town, you might see me walking through the toy aisles looking for a race dance to open. So keep your eyes peeled.
Help Michael get that race dance, everybody.
Bryce, what
Let's
you got?
see. Okay, great. Well, first of all, I love this new section, for those old school BCC fans, we started out going with the collecting in mind, Michael, Riley, and I are all sort of collectors of various things. But so I love this. I'm consuming... first of all, I want to thank Michael for helping me make my son's Christmas the ultimate Christmas. He wanted a PS, he really wanted a PS5, but he knew we had a tough year with the strikes and all, so he's like, but I'll take a PS4, Dad. That would be fine. So I called Michael up and he's like, Bryce, do me a favor.
Such a sweet kid.
He said, Don't get the 4. Get the 5. They're phasing the 4 out. It'll blow his mind. They're having great deals. And I was like, you know what? I talked to the wifey. We were like, let's do it. And what was great is that he had it in his mind that he was going to get a PS4 because at Target one day he saw these Black Friday deals for the 4, and I took a picture and he was like, yes. And so he just had absolutely convinced he was getting a 4. And then when he opened the 5, I recorded it on camera. He was so confused first. It was like shock that turned into just like pure bliss, excitement, Christmas, magical joy. So thank you, Michael. So I've been consuming PS5 games with my new PS5. I've been playing Ratchet and Clank and The Last of Us.
Great.
And so I really enjoy my new PS5. Thank you, Michael. Other than that, there's also
I've been getting into Baldur's Gate 3
there's a document on
Baldur's Gate
Netflix
3.
called "You Are What You Eat." Now, for those who know, my wife's a plant-based. She's getting her holistic nutritionalist certification, but so she's big into like plant-based diets, and God, we eat so well thanks to her, and we don't suffer in taste. By the way, God, the tastes are amazing. Anyway, there's a great documentary called "You Are What You Eat." They did this unprecedented study with identical twins, and where they put one on an omnivore diet and one on a plant-based diet over an 8-week period, and the results were pretty staggering. So I watched that, and that was really illuminating, and I like that. So Riley, Riley, how about you? And you, I know you're sort of vegan. Have you seen that? And what are you consuming?
I'm consuming plants. Yeah, I've been plant-based for 22 years now.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I'm not full vegan, but
Gotcha.
Pretty darn close. I'm a little, especially when I'm on the road. I'm a little more flexible. I don't eat meat, but I'll eat some, eggs and cheese and things. But yeah, I love eating plants, and that is awesome. As far as my collector's corner, let's see. I recently watched Saltburn, which I really enjoyed.
It's on my list.
Oh, that was so
That's
good.
Great. It's funny, and it's so well shot, and the performances are killer. I love the stylized sort of period piece of it. It's funny that a period piece is now like what didn't feel like that long ago, but I guess here we are.
Anything that looks like it's shot on film is now feels like a period piece.
Yeah, but I loved that. And then let's see, what am I spending my time? I've been going down some new AI rabbit holes. I've been talking to the machine to work out this project where I'm making this ambient abstract music based on the orbits of the planets in our solar system, as well as their basically like created. We're going to do this in a very quick nutshell, but I created the scale based on the different compounds, the most common compounds of the atmospheres of the planets. And then so each planet, it defines a few notes by its atmosphere. So then that becomes the melody. And then the length of the loop is defined by the orbit period. And the place in the octave is defined by its mass and size.
Dude!
So I'm working on these pieces right now. It's so cool. And it's an idea that's been in my head for so long, but I just didn't have the chops for like the math and science and research of it. But with AI in an afternoon, I'm sitting there talking to the machine and just working it all out.
Dude.
So that's really exciting. I'm going to start releasing some of that soon.
Can I just interject here? I just want to say how cool that is. So there's this idea called panpsychism that the planet has consciousness. Okay, let's start at a smaller scale. If you can get to the point where you think plants have consciousness, which I do, then you can move to bigger scales. Like I believe the Earth might be conscious. If you can do that, then you can go, well, if the Earth is conscious, then maybe the sun is conscious. And if the sun is conscious, then maybe the planets are conscious. And Riley, if you're doing what you're doing, it sounds like maybe for the first time ever, you're giving an actual voice to these consciousnesses out in our solar system. That's fucking awesome.
Man.
Wow.
I'm the sun. Everybody knows the sun sounds like this. He's cool.
He's wearing sunglasses, obviously.
I'm the sun, baby.
The sun will sing crooning lead vocals on the final track.
Awesome.
The best part of it, though, is that the way that the math works out, once the final track is complete and I click play, it will play for 25 million years before it reaches a perfect repeat moment in the cycles.
Oh my God.
And that is just like when I got to that point in the conversation with the AI, I was like, this is unbelievable. Like I can't believe that I can just talk to a machine and work this out.
That's
so
your
I'm working on it
Christmas
now.
joy.
I've done a few test tracks. I've really been enjoying it very much. So if you want to follow my progress on that, I post nerdy little stories on my Instagram, which is Peace Drone. So if you want to sort of watch me go down that rabbit hole,
I do.
Yeah,
I do. We do.
That's about it.
All right.
We do.
Well, speaking of rabbit holes, follow us over to the other side. We're crossing over right now for Friday's episode. If you thought giant sky clams were weird, wait till you hear this dragon story I'm about to drop on Bryce and Riley's heads. If we don't see you over there, we'll see you back here next week for an all new episode. Until then, good night.
And go get regressed. Bigfoot Collectors Club is produced by Riley Bray and Michael McMillan and scored and engineered by Riley Bray. Our theme song, Come Alone, is by Suneaters, courtesy of Lotuspool Records. Do us a favor and support the show and unlock 3 bonus episodes every month by becoming a member of our Patreon.
BCC, The Other Side, which can be found at patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub.